So 6.5 years ago, I'm sure many of you know, I took a certain photo all of a sudden.
It's so easy to just react instantly. But what if we actually stopped for a second, peeled back some layers, tried to really get what's going on behind the noise?
Yeah, find the context.
Exactly. So today, that's what we're doing with a story that, well, it really set off a lot of online talk and, frankly, concern. It's about comedian Kathy Griffin and some new photos.
It's actually pretty fascinating how just one image, right, can trigger such a huge range of reactions that pulls all these different complex threads together.
Totally.
So our goal today, our mission, if you like, is to unpack the material we've got. There's a news article, a bunch of social media stuff, and figure out what's really driving this whole conversation around her latest appearance.
Right, because it's not just skin deep, is it? There's the initial shock, sure, but then we'll look at how it ties into this long-running political thing.
The controversy, yeah.
And also some really personal health issues she's been facing. So what actually happened here, and what does it all mean when you connect those dots? Let's dive in.
Okay.
So picture this. You're scrolling maybe July 3rd, 2025, and boom, a photo pops up. Familiar face, Kathy Griffin, she's 64. But something seems different.
Right.
These were paparazzi shots taken while she was out for a walk in Malibu. No makeup, natural gray hair showing, wearing a simple white t-shirt actually from her 2018 tour, the Laugh Your Head Off one. But the reaction wasn't just, oh, look, a celebrity. It became a huge trending topic because, well, a lot of people felt she looked almost unrecognizable. There's a male companion with her, too, the article mentions.
And that unrecognizable part, that's really where the online reactions just exploded, wasn't it?
Instantly.
Social media just lit up. And the comparisons started immediately. Some were pretty pointed. You had people saying she looked like Pennywise from IT.
Wow, yeah, I saw that.
And others specifically mentioned Carrot Top. It created this really strong, sometimes quite harsh visual narrative almost overnight.
And the questions people were asking, they were really direct, like literally asking, is she okay?
That concern, whether genuine or not, was definitely there.
Yeah, and we saw comments like, what the actual fuck? Kathy Griffin is a certifiable psychopath. That's pretty intense.
Scary.
And another one saying, everyone is saying Kathy Griffin looks like Carrot Top. I say she looks like IT, complete with the clown emoji.
Right, driving that comparison home.
And just general confusion, too, like why is Katie Griffin trending with Pennywise? Plus, you know, the usual flood of memes just expressing shock. It really shows how fast an image can trigger that kind of intense, almost gut-level public reaction.
It really does. And it's also striking how something happening now can instantly drag the past right back into the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Her appearance seemed to immediately reignite all the chatter around her previous controversies.
Especially the political ones.
Yeah, it didn't take long at all for the conversation to swing back to that very specific, very politically charged incident involving Donald Trump.
Exactly. The source material we looked at points to a recent trigger, too. Apparently a TikTok post she made, featuring some pretty graphic imagery. Severed heads of Trump and other billionaires.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that naturally just instantly reconnected everything back to the infamous 2017 photo scandal. You know, the one
with the prop head, yeah.
It's pulled that whole controversy right back into the spotlight, like it never really faded.
It's always simmering, it seems. But, okay, there's another really important layer here. Especially when people talk about being concerned for her.
Right.
It adds this whole other dimension that maybe isn't always top of mind until something like this happens.
Definitely. And this is where it gets, really personal. Beyond the online noise and the politics, she's been dealing with some serious health challenges.
Like what specifically?
Well, just recently, April 2025, she had a hysterectomy. That was to deal with a precancerous condition.
Okay, that's significant.
And people might remember, back in 2021, she battled stage 1 lung cancer. And survived it, which is amazing, but she never smoked.
Right, I remember that. It affected her voice too, didn't it?
It did. They had removed part of her lung, and yeah, it permanently changed her voice. And then, add to that, in 2023, she publicly shared that she'd been diagnosed with complex PTSD.
CPTSD, okay.
Yeah, which is often linked to like prolonged or repeated trauma, not just a single event. And she herself said it was largely triggered by the fallout, the intense backlash from that 2017 Trump photo incident.
Wow, that really connects the dots in a different way.
It does. And she's also been incredibly open about past struggles, pill addiction, even suicidal thoughts. So there's a significant history of personal health battles there.
So when you lay all that out, Despite the initial wave of, harsh comments and those comparisons,
Yeah.
you are seeing another response emerge, right? People calling for a bit more compassion.
Yes, exactly. That's a really crucial counter-narrative. You see fans, mental health advocates starting to push back a little.
Saying what, essentially?
Well, urging for understanding, pointing directly to her openness about the trauma, about her recovery journey. It's not just a vague, be kind message. It's specifically referencing why maybe a bit more empathy is warranted here.
So people connecting her current appearance or behavior to that history of trauma and health issues.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Some fans are sharing their own mental health stories or just highlighting the real human being behind the viral photo. It invites a totally different way of looking at her public image. It's a fascinating shift, even if it's not universal.
Yeah.
So if we try and pull all these threads together, what do we see? You've got one single photograph.
Just a candid shot on the street.
Right. And it instantly triggers this massive public reaction, dredges up a years-old political fight, and intersects with these really deep, ongoing personal health struggles. It just perfectly highlights the incredibly complex, often unforgiving pressures on public figures.
So thinking about this, what does it mean for you listening right now? How do you process news like this? How do you form your opinions? Because this isn't just the story about Kathy Griffin, is it? It's like a mini case study in how fast narratives get spun online, how the past constantly shadows the present, and how, very real personal pain can become public entertainment or scorn. It kind of challenges us, doesn't it, to maybe pause, seek out those hidden layers before we jump to conclusions or hit share.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've really seen today how one picture unpacks into so many different tangled stories. Public perception, political baggage, and these incredibly real health issues. It's a stark reminder there's almost always more going on than what you see in that first click or headline.
For sure. This whole deep dive into Kathy Griffin's situation, it just shows that what looks simple on the surface can be, incredibly layered, full of complex human stuff and equally complex reactions from society. It pushes us to look deeper.
And maybe it leaves us with this question to chew on. In this age where, everything a public figure does or says can go viral in minutes, how much of the actual story are we really getting? And what responsibility do we have, just as people consuming this information, to maybe dig a little for the full context before we form those strong judgments?
Definitely something to mull over. Until our next deep dive.